it in seriousness, that it wasn't a gender reveal, it's a genital reveal. And I was like, well, technically you're right, but
it's interesting. I have a podcast that airs 5 days a week, and I had a guest in my studio earlier this morning, and we were talking about gender, and he was saying, language matters, and this whole idea that there are 400 genders. And he said, we started swapping out the term sex for the term gender.
Right.
And we started doing this years ago, because genteel people didn't like to use the word sex. It was a little bit too we can't say that word. So we started using gender. Well, now we blurred the lines, right? How many genders are there? Is there one gender? There are two genders? What gender do you identify as?
I identify as a great white shark.
That's right. And actually, given the culture today, I think that we should give you some sort of benefit for that. I think you have some money coming. We should contact the federal government, because I'm pretty sure if you identify that way, there's some sort of a stipend.
Fishery money.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a check even. Checks in the mail. Yeah. That's how we do things now. Yeah. So it's you got the Rona check, you got the check for staying home.
I got 3 of those, but I was still working.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that was a big socialist benefit for you. That's great. Yeah.
I was under the income cap, Surprise. A lot of people think I've got all this money because I dress this way, but no, I got 3 stimulus checks just like everybody else that didn't make too much money.
Yeah.
But see, everybody that was making the money paid for the stimulus check, and then our great grandkids are going to pay for the stimulus check entirely. Yeah. So
turns out, it's not free money. It's going to have to be paid back.
Well, we're still paying off World War II right now.
Well, at the
legitimately
at the rate we're going, the country is going to be so upside down that our grandkids are never going to forgive us for letting this go on the way it has. So, but
that's my kids.
Yeah, and I've already got grandkids, so I'm looking at, we got some big problems. We got to change them. That's why it's so important to win back the house.
Did you look at them in the eye and say, "I'm sorry, I gave you debt"?
I did, actually. Yeah. Yeah, to my kids for sure. My grandkids still don't get it. They still think everything's free.
Oh,
but my kids get it.
So teach it to them this way. Teach it to them with a Monopoly game where you don't put more money in free parking.
Okay.
You say, this is your GDP. All the money that everybody has. This is all the money that we're going to circulate.
Yeah.
Teach it to them that way.
That's not a bad idea.
That's how it was explained to me.
Yeah. I was told that I should just take 1/3 of their ice cream every time I give them ice cream and say, hey.
Tax.
Yeah.
I do that with French fries with my fiance. I take my tax when I buy her fries.
There you go. Perfect. So, yeah. No, I think that's a great idea.
She takes my pizza, so it works. Well, Heidi, you've decided to throw your hat into the ring for 3rd Congressional District.
Yeah.
The question I always get asked as a candidate is, what is your why? Yeah. Why are you running?
Yeah, I'm running because I'm tired of being misrepresented.
Okay.
I think that's probably the big thing. I am tired of people going to Washington, D.C. or even here to the State House in Olympia and misrepresenting me. And I think, ordinary people like you and me, I've been working for a long time in the district. I've been raising 7 kids in CD3. Our family resides in Clark County. And I am very tired of watching what's happening to the state that I love, to the district that I love. And we need to send people to D.C. and frankly, even to the State House who are fighters and who are going to stand up for the country and care about it. I mean, the country's going over a cliff right now, and I'm not going to stand back anymore and watch it. So when Jamie Herrera decided to impeach the president, that was the last straw for me. I voted for her hesitantly the last couple of times, but dude, I had her bumper sticker on my car. She was my person. And then when she voted to impeach the president, that's not how we do things. We're innocent in this country until proven guilty. And when I realized this blatant disregard for the rule of law and for how the people in CD3 actually felt about it. And
due process.
Hello, it matters. That was very upsetting to me. And then when she was asked about it, she doubled down and volunteered to be the star witness. So I'm concerned, obviously, about that, concerned about what's happening at the border. We're concerned with election integrity, concerned with the education system. If anybody, that knows me, I've been working in this district for a long time on education issues. I've been up in the State House arguing against comprehensive sex education in our schools. I mean, we got big problems, and it's going to take people who are willing to talk about them and come up with solutions. That's another thing that I'm a solutions girl. We started the Homeschool Resource Center in Vancouver. Right now, we got about 1,200 kids there. And that's us saying, okay, there's got to be a better way. So how about we stop, pontificating about things on Facebook and stop being armchair generals and we actually get off the bench and do something. And so I'm eager to start looking for solutions for CD3 and start having honest conversations.
So you're talking about actual grassroots involvement.
Absolutely. That's what it's going to take. I mean, if you think about it, in the country, where we are right now, particularly this is true certainly in Congressional District 3, it's going to take, I mean, people do not want Seattle politics bleeding into this district, right? And we're watching it. Absolutely is. And we've got to have regular people who just go, you know what, I'll just vote. No, you got to do more than that. You're going to have to start doing what our grandparents did and start, going door to door. My granddad took me door knocking for Ronald Reagan. We went doorbelling when I was a kid, and he was a pastor, and he just, he loved this country. And he said, Heidi, if you love your community, you have to be involved in it. You can't just expect other people are always going to do the right thing and represent you well. And I think that's been part of our mistake, right? For the last 40 years, we just thought, we elect this person, and they go. We don't hold them accountable. They're not coming home for town hall meetings. The things that are happening at the local level, certainly. I mean, you guys have municipal races that are coming up here that are very, very important. Who's on our city council? Who's the mayor? Who's sitting on our school boards that are allowing this garbage into our schools? And that takes the whole community, and that's a grassroots effort.
So what has been your feedback so far in running?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I'm having time in my life. I love people. I love talking to people. I'm a professional author and a speaker. It's what I've done in my job for a long time while I've been raising the 7 children. And we've had great feedback. I think people are excited to see someone who is living here and has been raising their kids here for 20 years throw their hat in the ring. The work that we've done for this community is very well known in a lot of places, and in the places that it's not, I hope soon that it will be, because this is my jam. I love talking to people. I love hearing what the problems are. Tell me what the problems are. How has the Congress worked for you or against you?
Right.
And what can we do to make that better so that their voices are heard, right? That's the job of a representative, is to spend time with the people and then take the voice of the people to the floor of the House of Representatives. And that is what I'm so excited to do. I had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time up on Capitol Hill shadowing a congresswoman from Illinois. And my husband called me at the end of the second day, and he said, what'd you think? I said, dude, I was born for this job. I know I can do it, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to bring some fire and some passion to the floor of the House of Representatives and fight with everything that's in me for the people of this district.
So representative government, that comes back to the misconception that a lot of people are taught now that we're a democracy. We're not a democracy. Right.
Yeah. We're a republic. And this idea that, we are kind of a democracy in Seattle. Portland is operating like a democracy. Democracy is basically mob rule. And with the chaos that's being ushered, you saw the laws that just got passed regarding our law enforcement that go into effect on the 25th. We're ushering in lawlessness. That should concern the citizens of this state, that we have bought so far down the progressive, rabbit hole that now we're going to see real crime in our area, and the police are basically going to be powerless to help. That's devastating. What is that? That's policy. It's policy. And we're watching these devastating policies become enacted. And I think we've forgotten the role of the government. The role of government is not to keep you safe. The role of government is not to provide our health care. The role of the government is to protect our liberty and our freedom, to defend our borders. That's the role of government. And so everything that the government should be doing, it's not doing. And everything it shouldn't be doing, it is doing. And our constitutional walls have been breached. And that's concerning.
1 minute. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here in just a minute to thank our sponsors. Some of our great sponsors. We've got Longview Sewing and Kitchen, New Rock Homes, Millennium Bulk Terminals, Pets, Ponds, and Instruments in downtown Longview. Some of our great small businesses. On Target Outdoors. Thanks to Andy with Citizens Update for broadcasting this and doing all the tech for us on the online spectrum. That being said, we will be right back after these messages. Thank you.
As a full-time
so much for tuning in today and sticking with us through the commercial break. Many thanks to our sponsors. We just had some of their advertisements online. Thanks to Heidi. Heidi, thank you for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
Heidi, before we get back to the regular portion of the interview, I'm going to talk about the Cowlitz County Fair that's going on right now. It's the only fair for a while.
It's the only game in town, right?
Yeah. Clark County Fair's canceled again.
Sad.
Sad. It sounds like a Trump tweet.
It does.
County Fair canceled. Sad.
Sad.
Exclamation point.
Sad.
Well, the fair is free. There's lots of great vendors, fair food, carnival rides. We're actually going to be doing a carnival ride bracelet giveaway here from some of our local sponsors that sponsor our local media and talk shows and news shows. But that's on Saturdays, the giveaway, so tune in to Citizens Update for more information on that. Heidi, are you going to be down at the fair?
I think so. Sounds like it.
Get a corn
gonna
dog?
be, you know what? I'm a huge fan of corn dogs.
Me too.
Yeah, with mustard. I'm more of a mustard.
Oh, I don't
girl.
do mustard.
Oh, I love mustard. I put mustard on everything. But yeah, and my kids will love it. So.
I'm finicky on ketchup.
Yeah.
Like Heinz is great if I have the opportunity to get. It's called Portland Organic Ketchup.
Oh yeah, it's at Costco, dude.
Yeah, it's at Costco now.
Costco in a 3-pack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, winning. Yeah.
Winning.
Organic Costco.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me that it's organic. That's just the brand name.
But
It just tastes good.
It's good.
It's fancy ketchup.
That's what they told me.
So
It wasn't McMenamins. That's how I first found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, McMenamins, which is so awesome.
the second place I got it wasn't McMenamins. First place I got it was at this place called the Klondike. It's this old restaurant in St. Helens. I think they're closed now.
Oh.
But it's the first place I got it.
But the ketchup made an impression.
It did.
Yeah, good.
It did. I bought a whole bottle right there at the table. So we've got the rodeo going on. That's the Thunder Mountain Pro Rodeo at the Cowlitz County Fair. 3 nights of spectacular fun and entertainment. Starting tonight at 7 p.m. is the rodeo. Tomorrow at 7. Saturday at 7. Also, gates open at 5 o'clock. Begins at 7. There's a separate website for it. You can get all the information at cowlitzcountyfair.com. Free entertainment. Let's see. Look at this stage schedule. We had some great performers up there earlier today. So today, we got Luana Gratzer at 5 o'clock. Luana was on our Christmas telethon for the Salvation Army previously in December. She's on today at 5. And then tomorrow at 1, Friday at 1, we got the Thunder Mountain Pro Rodeo Queen.
Oh.
So that's sure to be a treat. 2 o'clock tomorrow is the Old Time Music Association. Luana's back on at 4. Kill the Headlights is at 7 tomorrow.
Who's doing bluegrass? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not seeing
I'm always
anything
looking for the
labeled
bluegrass. That feels.
County, the Cowlitz Music Association.
Oh.
Is it?
There you go.
Cowlitz
That feels
Music.
very
Is that the Old
fairish to
Time
me.
Music Association? Okay, so Old Time Music Association is at 2 tomorrow. They're also at 3 on Saturday. Saturday morning, I'll be out busy working. But, yeah, lots of great stuff going on at the Cowlitz County Fair. We got the carnival rides. What carnival rides do we have? Oh, lots of rides.
long
No
as-
Ferris wheel, though.
No Ferris wheel.
I know. No Ferris wheel, though. So, but yeah, so if we want more information about the ride giveaway, the Mike Wall and Star team, Keller Williams team, he's the usual host of the show and one of the sponsors, of course.
Got it.
Their ticket giveaway, you can go to the Cowlitz Citizens Update Facebook page, look for the Mike Wall and Star team, Keller Williams ride bracelet giveaway post. You have to like and share the realtor page, guess a number between 1 and 30,000 on the comment section of that post, and the giveaway will be Saturday at 1. So if you can follow all those instructions, you could win a double set of ride bracelets. You can't win, I'm sorry.
I'm sad. Actually, I just don't do the rides anymore.
Oh, see, I'll do anything that doesn't take me upside down.
No, see it because I got stuck on the zipper.
You got stuck on
I got
zipper.
stuck on the zipper.
Upside down?
Upside down.
When was that?
Like when I was 10.
I don't do that.
No, it wrecked me. Wrecked me.
I'm glad the ride didn't wreck.
No, it just got stuck. And it wasn't forever, but it was like 15 minutes. That's
Yeah.
a long time when you're doing this upside down at the top of the zipper. Come
So
on
I
now.
passed out 2015 trying to get on the Ferris wheel at the county fair.
See,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Didn't drink anything. No water.
Dehydrated.
Yeah, I was just standing there trying to get on at the ride queue, stepped on, dropped. Next thing I know, it's
Okay.
half an hour later and I'm behind in the sheriff's tent. So,
Well, if you have to be in the sheriff's tent.
I know. They got me like 4 bottles of water. So, Heidi, tell us a little bit more about your background. We
Yeah.
talked about your why you're running, but what's brought you here? What's your life been like?
Well, I already told you I'm a mother.
Mhm.
That's probably the biggest thing. I'm a grandmother now, and we have 3 grandkids that are being raised in Camas. And I started off just like a lot of other people, kind of fell into a career that I love, which is writing and speaking.
Mhm.
I started, some people I always feel like, you can help people find out what their passion is by just seeing what they do on their free time.
Right.
Like when you don't have, when you've got an opportunity to, have some downtime, what do you do? Well, I started a blog a long time ago, just talking about, life and what it, raising kids and what was going on in at that time when I lived in northern Washington State. And
Up there.
yep, up there. up there, Mount Vernon.
Way up there.
Way up there. That's my husband's family is from there. And so we were there for a few years and I started blogging and really liked it. It was just an outlet for me.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we got asked to head up the Washington Homeschool Association, and somebody asked me to speak and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But I had been leading, other small groups and things like that and some Bible studies at our church. And I thought, give it a
Why not?
Why not? And I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
People say, public speaking is the thing that terrifies me the most. I like it. And so that sort of got me invited to a different county.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spoke again, and pretty soon I'm coming to the end of a 7-book deal with Tyndale right now, or 5 book. I don't know. It's a lot. So I've got a brand new book coming out next year. So excited about that. I'm working on that one for a couple of years. And, and it's something I love to do. That and, passion about kids and families. That's the future right now. Everybody keeps talking about the most precious natural resources that we have, and it's our children. These are tomorrow's leaders and tomorrow's doctors and tomorrow's lawmakers, and we need to be paying attention to how we're raising them. And so, so that's a little bit how I got to where I am. Generally, I just like people, and it has taken me in a lot of different places.
So people, and that's people power. I guess that's what all levels of government are about.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your opinion on career politicians?
Well, it depends on how their career is going.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, as a career politician, I guess, people said, actually, it was Cowlitz County that really I was challenged by a veteran, an older guy. He asked me what I thought about term limits. And I was like, absolutely, I'm in favor of term limits. Well, why are we in favor of term limits? He asked me, he said, could I push back on you a little bit? I love the discourse. I think that the conversation is good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, absolutely, changed my mind. I sort of David Crowdered him, changed my mind a little bit. He said, why do we want term limits? Because we're angry. We're angry that the politicians not doing the job they said they would do, and somehow they just get, voted in over and over and over again. And then every year that passes, they feel they're a little bit more disconnected from the people that they're supposed to represent. That's why we want term limits.
Right.
And he was right. And he said, Heidi, I would like to tell you that we do have term limits. It's called a voter.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that we see right now is that we've got a very disengaged and uneducated electorate. We just haven't been involved like we need to be, and now we're paying a terrible price for it, right? So I feel the same way about career politicians. So what his point was that if you had hired somebody, like I wouldn't want to go. I have a friend who has been working with politicians in D.C. for a long time, and he said the minute D.C. feels like home, time to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're not there to establish a house and residency. You're there to represent the people whose state you hail from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the minute it becomes that career politician and they're no longer in touch, then the voters need to do what voters are supposed to do and vote them out. And so I'm not a fan of career politicians in the sense that they become the elite, right? The establishment elite. We talk about that all the time. We need to see people who are regular citizens like you and me, who've been living the life and know what it takes to put a gallon of milk on the table and understand, oh my goodness, our gas prices. It's crazy what's going on with gas prices right now, right? Mm-hmm. We're living the life here.
$45 to fill up my Chevy Cruze.
Yeah.
A Chevy Cruze, $45.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. I plunked down pretty darn close to $70 to fill up my van the other day.
I don't have a van. I don't have that many kids.
Well,
I've got none.
I know, right? It's coming though. Watch out.
I want 3.
So that's gonna raise your gas prices.
We can put 3 in a Jetta or a Cruze though.
You could. Yeah, you could. I mean, it's little tight, but you could do it.
Well, that being said, this show is not sponsored by any oil or gas companies. Surprisingly, I know. So we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors and hear some advertisements. Please stay with us through the break. We'll be right back. This is Town. Thanks for staying with us through the break. This is Spencer Boudreau. You're listening to Town Hall. You could be watching it on Facebook right now, courtesy of Cowlitz Citizens Update and Washington Social Consulting. Talk to Andy for all your video production needs and video dispersal needs. If you want radio ads, call and talk to Bruce. So, Heidi, you're running for 3rd Congressional District. We were just talking about your background in homeschooling and all that.
No, you were just saying that you want my job in 10 years.
I can't say that on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's a rumor.
Only on Facebook Live.
That's a rumor. So, speaking of rumors, we're going to talk about the small elephant in the room. It's like a little elephant.
The rumor weed. If you've ever watched VeggieTales, then everyone knows what a rumor weed is.
I didn't watch VeggieTales.
You missed it.
I watched Law and Order, SVU.
Oh, yeah. This is different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're like triangulating calls from someone who's being
Right.
held captive. We're talking about Veggie Tales. So this rumor weed, right?
Yes.
This rumor weed is talking about, it's from the National Enquirer, right?
Yeah, it's from a political blog that I like to call the National Enquirer of political blogs.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
I see.
Yes, kind of a ne'er do good political blog that likes to,
Big League Politics.
There you
is
go.
The name. That's pretty
Can
telling.
you just hear, President Trump? It's
Big League.
Big League.
Yeah. It's got a poll in there. Would you vote for Ron DeSantis for president in 24? It's an ad poll. I'm sure
Yes.
they collect your
Clickbait.
email address and everything on that. Data mining.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
well, this rumor is something about homeschooling and something with child abuse or something.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit on that?
Yeah. So basically,
We've got to address it.
and I don't mind. It's basically, I would tell people it's a tale of two sisters, and neither one of them are me.
Okay.
So these two sisters, one of them who owns a homeschool magazine and the other one who worked in the homeschool industry, got in a fight because there was allegedly some abuse between some family members, some cousins or something. I don't know, because they lived in Tennessee and I live in Washington.
Right.
One of the sisters wanted to put my name on a complaint saying that this other sister was, hiding abuse and wouldn't address it. And I said, no, I'm not going to put my name on your complaint. I don't even know what you're talking about, right?
Right.
I mean, how many times have we seen the lives of people ruined because somebody lodged a false complaint? Well, I'm not going to bear false witness against my brother.
Right.
And so I said, no, I won't put my name on your complaint. Take it off. And then she wrote back and said, hey, we both know that you weren't involved in this directly, but what they were trying to do was use my name for credibility.
Right.
So when I refused to do it, they basically said in so many words, we're going to make your life a living hell. And they did. They started printing that I was the one who was covering this abuse up. This abuse that I knew nothing about, had nothing to do with.
Because it was in Tennessee.
It was in Tennessee. I don't even, and nothing to do with it. But
I've only been to Tennessee once.
Well, I love Tennessee and I've been there several times speaking, but I'll tell you, I had nothing to do with this. And so this is the nature of politics today, right? When your campaign is boring, when you've got nothing to say, then you smear the person who's running against you because that person is a threat. And that's really how I see this. You take two people, and actually the headline, I don't even see it. Maybe you do. It's inflammatory, right? It says report.
Yes, report.
Report.
Congressional contender Heidi St. John covered up sexual abuse claims in homeschool community.
Yeah. Lie. Fake news.
Whose
Total
report?
Fake news. Yeah.
Whose report
That's
is
exactly right. So, we learned about fake news, right, from President Trump. And that man, Russia. This is kind of like my Russia. This story that originally aired in 2014 that my opponents have dredged up and are trying to smear my name in the county, in the community that I have spent almost my entire adult life supporting and building good things here. And it's a tale of two sisters, and neither one of them were me. So There you go.
They have the email. I'm reading the email on here.
Yeah, and that's funny because if you read it to the end, it totally says I didn't do it. But the headline is so inflammatory, and that's the point, right? The headline is so inflammatory, most people don't read beyond the headline. They see the headline.
Yellow journalism.
Exactly. And we know that, whatever is above the fold is what people typically read. And so this is intended to smear my name, and I am not going to allow that to happen because I literally had nothing to do with this. And the only reason that that story was printed in the first place was because I refused to engage in a smear campaign against another person. And so one of the sisters was like, fine, I'm going to smear your name now. If you want to help me smear my sister, I'm going to smear you. And that's what happened. It's amazing. People are amazing. But anyone who knows me and knows my heart for people, and particularly for children, I'm a mom and a grandma, I would never intentionally cover up the abuse of a child. I mean, it's a horrific allegation, right? And it's just simply baseless. And, like I said, it sounds to me like it's coming from a campaign that doesn't have anything better to do. Can your argument for why you're the better candidate should be compelling? And instead, this is why regular people, by the way, like me, don't want to run for office.
Right.
Because they know that somebody's going to smear their name and lie about them and try to ruin their business and ruin their reputation. It's shameful. It's shameful behavior. And people keep saying, well, this is politics. Well, we can do better. The Republican Party certainly should do better, and it's too bad. But it's fake news, and that's the bottom line. Fake news.
It says in the email, "We love you and we love the Suarezes. We're grieved that this happened, but we cannot and will not be part of it. Being named in this document implies that we are somehow involved, and we are not."
There you go. That's what I wrote in 2014. I said, please take me out of your complaint. I have nothing to do with it. Why in heaven's name would I attach my name to a document that accuses another person of sexual abuse? Why would I do that? I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Right.
And so that would have been the wrong thing to do, right? But I did the right thing and said, hey, take my name out of that and work it out amongst yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
because you're not involved.
Because I'm not involved. And they took out after me, and now my opponent has shamefully brought it back up to the surface and are trying to tar me as a child abuser, which I find I find shameful and
you weren't
offensive.
Even there.
I wasn't even there. No, I had no knowledge of it. I didn't even get a phone call about it. I didn't even know about it. So, and I still don't know about it. It's like,
right.
Wasn't any, it's what's going on between those two sisters who, from what I understand, are still not speaking to each other. And yet this article has been dredged up somewhere.
Implying that you're involved.
Yes. And I'll address another rumor since we're having so much fun talking about rumors. Another one of my opponent's smear campaigns against me said that I have filed for bankruptcy, that my business, that I failed to pay federal taxes. Fake news, fake news, fake news. But guess what? Want to hear a fun fact? There is another Heidi St. John in the district. And so what they've done is they've searched for a name, and they found one, except for my name my name is Heidi Lynn St. John, which anyone can see from my public record, but I don't have an E on the end of the Lynn in my name. This one does.
I see.
And she's only a year older than me. And she used to be from Roy, Washington. I don't even think she lives in the state anymore. But apparently she did file bankruptcy. But I feel like we got to do better than this.
Right.
Right. So why can't we talk about the issues? Oh, why are we not doing that? It should be that we send people to represent us because we're literally just looking for the best representative. And this smear campaign, this idea, that I think voters are tired of it. I mean, do you think so? I feel like voters are fatigued by it.
Well, I feel like that's part of the reason people don't get involved in the first place.
Absolutely.
Like you said.
Yeah.
Why throw your hat in the ring when your personal life is going to get dragged all over the place?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Everybody can find out that.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
That's exactly right. And you know what? I don't have anything to hide. So, I've been faithfully married to the same man for 32 years, and we've got a wonderful family. I had a great job. I don't need the platform, as you know. I got a great platform, doing just fine on my own platform. But the fact of the matter is we're losing this district, and it needs better representation. And I know in my bones I'm the right person to represent this district. I've lived here for almost 20 years, 17, almost 18 years now. And, I want to take what I have already been doing here in the district to the next level and represent the people here in the House of Representatives and give their voice back to them.
Right.
And I think it's time. And if I have to slog through all of these false allegations and the stupidity that's coming from the other side, from the other Republican in the race, well, then I guess so be it. That's what I'll have to do. And I think in some respects they're trying to, they want me to quit, right? You know what? I'm not going to quit. I know I'm the right person for the job. So, I'm totally fine. If people hear, and this is what I think is sort of wrong with the culture right now, particularly in this age of media driven, you either get canceled, right? Or they can get on the internet and just smear your name with literally no evidence.
We're smearing your name right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And people don't get to go on people don't do their homework. Like if you were just to read to the bottom of that article, you would read what you just read.
Right.
And it
literally the email.
Yes. So the headline smears me. The accusation is horrific. Anyone who would knowingly cover up child abuse, that's a horrible thing. But if you
it's like the movie, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Exactly. No, it's completely right. And if you just were to read all the way through, it explains itself, but they don't care. They want the headline is clickbait. They're trying to hurt somebody's reputation, and we've got to do better than this. And I think we can. What would happen if we just started talking about the issues? Talking about things people care about. People care about what's going on in CD3. People care about what's happening with the fish and wildlife. And they care about what's going on in our forests.
Right.
They care about the border. We care about voter integrity, right? We care about our schools are on fire. But okay, let's try to, let's squirrel. Let's try to ruin the life of another human being. That's not helpful to the citizens of the 3rd Congressional District, and I'd like to see it change.
There we go. Well, with that, we'll be right back after these commercial breaks. We've got to thank our sponsors and not ruin their economic lives.
That's right.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in again. Thanks for staying with us through our commercial breaks. Grateful to be here with Heidi St. John. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we just addressed the rumor mills and the rumor weeds before the break. Now let's get down to brass tacks in our last 8 minutes of the program, because that's how we do things here.
I love it.
Rapid fire. What do you want to do differently than Jamie Herrera Butler?
Oh, I think I want to start by being a stronger representative. I feel like she's been there for 10 years. I'd like to see her leave a bigger footprint. You know, people keep saying, well, you can't, what can you do as a freshman? You can't do, freshmen can't do anything.
What has she done in 10 years?
Right. And that's a good question. There's
sea lions. Things, we can kill the sea lions.
That's true. And you know what? There are some good things that she has done. I think it is time for a change in leadership. It is time for a change in leadership. She's been there for 10 years. And I think that there's things lately that obviously that she has done that we are all just like, what in the heck? What's going on?
Right.
People keep saying that, that you can't do anything as a freshman. Okay. Has anyone heard of AOC? Anyone heard of Rashida Tlaib? Anyone heard of Ilhan Omar? These women, hello. When did we hear of them? Their freshman year.
Right.
And so it's not true that you can't go to Washington, D.C. as a freshman and have an impact. And so I want to move the needle. And I don't think that this is not the bold attacks that are coming at our country are coming from within. And you can only attack a bold lie with bold truth. And I'm a truth teller. And so I want to address some of these things, openly and honestly. I was on the radio a couple of days ago and someone asked me, why I cared so much about education. They're like, education is not a federal issue. I'm like, I beg to differ. The Department of Education is all over education.
Right.
The
was
Biden
it originally in the framers' mind?
No, absolutely not.
Now.
But we've federalized everything, right?
Right.
And we've got such big problems. You got the Biden administration, funding critical race theory. We've got so many things that are wrong in the federal government. We've federalized literally everything. I'd love to see the power get back to the states, but I also think that Congress has an amazing opportunity right now to shine a light on some of the things that are wrong with the country and to actually move the needle. And so that's what I plan to do. And frankly, learning, I'm learning as I go. I'm from obviously Clark County, and I've done quite a bit of work up here in Cowlitz County.
People down in Clark County.
I know it is crazy, isn't it? But
thanks for coming out.
I love it up here. Well, you've got Sharon in the studio with you, and I've known her for a long time because we planted a homeschool cooperative up here in Cowlitz County a long, long time ago. And so my interest in this district goes back 15, 16, 17 years. And so for me, this is the next natural progression of representing the people here and working to make their lives better. I mean, that's really what we're about. So I'm looking for the opportunity.
So what can you do for forestry? I know that's Cowlitz County's purpose, essentially, and industrially and economically is forestry. That's why people settled in Washington. That's why people moved to Kelso and Longview. What can we do to help forestry?
Well, my granddad was in the forestry industry, and he would tell me, like, I walked the forests with him when I was younger, and he taught me about reforestation long time ago, clear cutting and all these things. And I would understand why it was so important that we kept the floor bed, in other words, of the forest clean, which they're not now.
You rake the forest. You literally rake the forest.
And when you don't, you're building up layer upon layer upon layer. And basically you've just created a tinderbox, which is what our forests have become now. And they're dangerous, right? So every single summer right now for the last several years, we see inferno after inferno after inferno, raging in the area. So,
well, and it's not like that didn't happen before human habitation, because it did.
It did.
Every year there would be a forest fire when there was not civilization out here.
Yeah.
It would just happen organically.
Yes. And my granddad used to tell me that's actually not a bad thing. But when you don't manage the forest well, then it becomes a bad thing. Because I've talked to people in Skamania County and all up and down in Kitsap who are telling me that the roads into the forest, a lot of them have been blocked off. So they don't even have access. I talked to a woman who told me she cannot log her own property because environmentalists have come in, and now we've made environmentalism into a religion, right? That we value pigeons more than people. We can take care of the environment and take care of our people at the same time,
right? They would count the spotted owl calls in the day.
Oh man, yeah,
by playing recorded loops in the day.
Yeah, well, boy, you have done your homework because you're not old enough to know about the spotted owl.
My family, they lost their jobs when the spotted owl issue came to town.
I believe it. Yeah,
along with
and
thousands
this was
of other
kind
people.
of the spotted owl really was sort of the death knell, if you will, for the industry, which ever since then has just been, struggling to survive. And, we've got to do better. And like I said, I am a very solutions focused person. I want to sit down at the table with people from both sides and say, what the heck's going on? Right? Here's the evidence that is in front of us. Let's talk about it. But guess what? We don't talk anymore. We're not talking anymore. We're sending people to represent us who are not even coming home
Right.
to see what's going on. And I think we lose touch. So absolutely, we need better forest management tomorrow. Yesterday would be good.
Now, what can we do for Southwest Washington's economy outside of forestry?
Well, listen, it seems to me that the overregulation that we're seeing happening, right? We've got job-killing economies. We have our governor who locked us down, for goodness sake, for months and months and months. And I've watched businesses. Do you notice, dude, Walmart's doing just fine. The drive-through restaurants are doing just fine. You drive through Clark County or any of the places that are in the mom and pop shops, struggling to stay alive. I think we look to see how can we incentivize these
Now
guys
they can
back
get
to
business, but they can't get their workers.
They
to come
don't.
back.
Yeah, I went to Barrel Mountain, which is my favorite plug for Barrel Mountain Brewing in Battleground, Washington. They're my favorite restaurant in the whole wide world. And I went there the other day on a Tuesday, and I took my staff there. They're not open. Why? Because they don't have enough kitchen staff. Because we're paying people to stay home. What kind of garbage is this?
Right.
It's ridiculous. And so I think we de-incentivize people to staying home. Get off your rear end, go back to work. Right? That's what we do unless you're a socialist country, which the Democrats would love to see us become. They want us dependent on the government, right? They want us dependent on that check or whatever it is. And so we've got to figure out a way. How can we de-incentivize this? Because now this is frankly you can blame the Biden administration for it, for sure. And actually Inslee. I mean, really, there's so many things. But then how can we bring incentives back to businesses so they want to come here?
Right.
Listen, people used to, oh my goodness. I mean, people used to move here because of its beauty, because of the safety of the district, because of our natural resources, because the jobs were good.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're leaving now.
Right.
They're leaving. And actually, when I said I would run for Congress, you know how many people come to me and said, "Why would you do that?" I'm just leaving. I'm moving. I'm gonna cash out while the housing market's out of control, and take my money and go invest it somewhere else where I'm not afraid for my life because they've defunded the police, and I feel like I'm being represented in a more substantial way.
Idaho.
Everybody's
leaving to Idaho and Texas.
My sister-in-law just did that. My sister-in-law just moved from Oregon to Idaho. But the thing is, and this is why I always tell people, A, I will not be driven from my home. I love it here. This is my home. This is where my roots are. And B, every state, every city, every municipality, they're only one election cycle away from a bad governor, from a bad city council member, from a bad mayor. And if we all just tuck tail and run, and we go, let's say we move to Florida, because who didn't want to be under Ron DeSantis right now, right? Let's say we all move to Florida, and what happens? You guys know that Ron DeSantis barely won that election.
Right.
I mean, he almost lost to a straight up crazy person.
Right. He was later found, Andrew Gilliam, he was later found in a hotel room with crack pipes.
Crazy. It's crazy. But think about this.
Legitimately crack pipes.
Yeah. Think about the people that have moved from places like Washington and California and Oregon, which are under siege from these terrible progressive policies. And then they move there and give it 2 years. And for some reason, DeSantis loses that election and a crazy person is now your governor. And now you got the same problem we have. Well, I won't be driven from my home. I'd rather stay and fight for it. And so that's what I intend to do. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to even be considered to represent the people of the district that I love so much. And I think our best days are ahead of us, but we're all going to have to pull our bootstraps up and buckle in and do the hard work of recovering this area economically. We need to recover it politically,
right,
and ideologically and educationally, and we can do it.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Heidi St. John running for 3rd Congressional District. You can find more information on our website at HeidiSt.JohnForCongress.com. Thank you so much for being here. With that, this has been Town Hall. I'm your host, Spencer Boudreau. Thanks for watching. We'll take you home.